Welcome to the Kortex Media Podcast, Marketing Accelerator, your compass for navigating the dynamic world of marketing and business growth. I'm Korson Schmidt, founder of Kortex Media. Our mission is to equip marketing agencies with the custom growth solutions they need to unlock massive revenue increases and scale their business. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today, we're joined by a true force in public relations, media, and marketing, Meghan Rothschild, owner and president of Chik Media. Meghan brings over 20 years of experience holding a master's in corporate communication. Meghan's journey is unique. A melanoma survivor, a former professor, a TV personality, and social media influencer herself. Chik Media specializes in providing high-quality PR, social media, and videography services with a mission to support women-owned and small businesses across a diverse range of industries. Meghan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
No worries. So I'm excited to hear a little bit more about yourself, Meghan. I mean, you are the owner, aka Chief Badass, as you like to call yourself, of Chik Media. But
self-appointed title.
I hope so. But do you mind telling us who Chik Media is, what you guys do, what are your core services today, just so the audience can get to know you and get to know Chik Media just a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a full-service marketing and public relations firm. As you mentioned in the intro, we focus on women entrepreneurs, women-led businesses, but we have plenty of men who are clients. People always ask that. We do kind of everything under the sun when it comes to marketing and communications. We do expert positioning, website development, social media content creation, PR events, grand openings, media, press conferences, things of that nature. We don't do some services like search engine optimization and more on the tech side. That's not a space that I ever really wanted to be in. But other than that, our strengths are really about the storytelling piece, the brand piece, and helping women entrepreneurs be able to find their voice through strategic marketing and public relations.
That's amazing. And I mean, brand is such an important factor in today's market, right? Like every market you look at, every industry you look at is quite saturated because people are starting businesses right and left. And it's a great spot to be in, but it's also a struggle. And it takes a lot of time to really build a business. So your brand and the message you portray is super important in today's atmosphere. Now, before getting too far into that, Meghan, do you mind sharing a quick story on how you guys have helped a specific client get to their specific goal they were looking for? Just run us through a quick case study on how Chik Media has helped a client.
Absolutely. So we work with a lot of nonprofit organizations, and one in particular, Head Start, which is actually a national brand name. A lot of people probably know Head Start, but they have locations all over the country that are independently operated. And so we've been working with one in Massachusetts for, I think it's been 3 or 4 years at this point. And they came to us with, I guess, a shell of a brand, but not something that was super formalized, nothing that was really templated. And they had a lot of challenges in terms of internal communications, external communications, keeping things consistent, having that good look and feel that tied back to their logo and their brand. And so we started, I don't want to say from scratch, but sort of, kind of a couple steps back to take steps forward. Mm-hmm. So we formalized their brand. We got everything into a really beautiful lookbook, branding guidelines. We started templating materials for their teachers and their administrators to use. And once we got to the point where they felt really good about their brand, we turned to the internal communications piece because we had identified that one of the biggest challenges was file sharing and simply being able to communicate interdepartmentally because they had multiple sites, physical locations, right? So not everybody operated under one roof. So after getting through the branding process, we started an internal communications audit, and then we created a internal communications strategy that they are now implementing and executing as we speak today. So I think they're a great example because they're an organization that used almost all of our services, right? So a lot of people will come to us and they'll say, I need social media management. And that's all we do for them. But in this case, they came to us not really knowing what they needed, and they allowed us to be in the driver's seat. So we did the assessment and we said, okay, you got to start here, but we do see these other areas of opportunity. And that's where we are with them today. And they've been a long-term client of ours, and just a really great partner. So
That's amazing. I love how you brought up partner at the end of that, because I mean, you guys had a
yeah.
full circle moment with them, helping them build their
Yep.
brand from the ground up, right? And I mean, you got to use every single piece, every facet of your guys' expertise and Chik Media's expertise to really help
Yeah.
them execute. And those are the I feel like they're the best partnerships to have,
Yeah.
because you're working one on one with them. They understand you, you understand them, and you guys both have this
Exactly.
clear vision in mind and on where you want to take it. And you guys are always there to help push in the right direction. So that's super
Well, and they
amazing.
trust us too. I
Yes,
think that's
huge.
another key thing is we have a lot of clients who, will come to us and they think they have this really hyper focused idea of what they need. And we might come in with an alternative perspective, an outsider's perspective, and say, hey, yeah, your social media needs some support, but your messaging isn't resonating with your audience. Why don't we start there? And a lot of people will say, you know what, you're the experts, do it. And but then you have a couple who will be like, no, I think it's great. And it's like, okay, well, you've been here for 15 years, you're like very acclimated to the messaging, but it's not working. So the best clients are the ones that hire us for our expertise and then actually trust us to be
Hmm.
able to do the work.
For sure. I mean, like, marketing in general is such a testing aspect to it, right? You need to be changing, pivoting, like you
Yeah,
said, messaging, right? Even your brand messaging in general, you need to be pivoting and up with the generations, because, like you
so
said,
true.
someone could be staying 15 years, could be a thought leader 15 years ago, and they still think they are, unfortunately, but you need to change with the
Yep.
times and continue evolving into who you're meant to be and who your company's meant to be as well. So,
Very true.
move let's move that conversation more into the industry today. Like, we kind of touched on it, but what
Hmm.
is that one trend, other than, let's keep AI out of it for now, but what are some of the
Hmm.
trends that are challenging Chick Media, or changing our industry as a whole, in trying to
Hmm.
navigate this landscape? How are we supposed to do that? There's a lot going on.
I know. And this is, as someone who works with a lot of small businesses and people who are solo entrepreneurs and don't have huge teams or huge budgets, it's a question we get asked a lot. And I think number one, most disruptive, I would say, other than AI right now, is social media and just the demand that it places on a business owner, in terms of the level of content you have to produce, the frequency of content, the quality of content. There was a big push right after COVID for authenticity online and to really show sort of the raw behind the scenes footage of a business or of your entrepreneurial journey. And people were very much resonating and relating to, the unpolished look. And I think that's still the case depending on industry, but I think there's also a very high demand in terms of the pressure to produce video content, to use the latest technologies, and to be doing voiceovers and to be on camera yourself, and just things that people aren't necessarily comfortable with, and it doesn't come second nature. And so I think, there's a lot that we can be doing in terms of delegating that, right? So like when in doubt, hire a professional or put someone on camera who's more comfortable. But I think we have to be learning. Like it's a lifelong
Hmm.
learning career, right? Like marketing isn't just, you don't just learn it and then you're done with it. Like every few months, right? We're like reading the trends. We're trying to get up to date on things. We're doing trainings internally at Chick Media where we hire external consultants to come in and teach us about what's happening and what's going on so we can stay up to date. And I think just committing to knowing that you have to be a lifelong learner if you're going to do your own marketing.
For sure. Yes, for sure. It's always a landscape that's changing, and AI is rapidly changing that even more, right? Like,
For sure.
it's a
Yeah.
very tough landscape out there today. And you brought up social media, and I want to bring up personal
Mm.
branding, because I know you have your own personal brand.
Yes.
And
Yep.
it's a big direction that a lot of companies are kind of looking at, is Do I, being head of this company, make a personal brand to really portray my brand and show our story in my aspect and as the CEO? And I think it's
Yep.
amazing. I think a lot of people should embrace it and embrace personal brand. Even if you're not a business owner, just embrace your personal brand and show your
Yeah.
message, show what you're about, show your value, because people will follow you. People will understand your story and resonate with you because maybe they're going through the same thing. So if there's
Yeah.
anyone out there who's starting a personal brand, what is some of the advice that you have for them? Because you've gotten started, you've been in this realm for a little
Yeah.
bit now. So what's some of the best piece of advice you have for someone just wanting to start a personal brand?
Yeah, I think really being authentic and doing some self-reflection to understand what is it that you want to put out there? What is it that you want to be known for? And doing things that feel authentic and real to you. I think a lot of people have this preconceived notion of, well, I have to be the CEO who, is always buttoned up and I want to provide this service and that service, but maybe they're not an expert in those things. And I'm not saying not to have goals and not to work towards something, but I do think there's something to be said for knowing what your strengths are and leaning into that instead of trying to put out this false narrative that you are strong in something that you might not be. And so, I think that's key. That's step number one. And then, the other thing that I like to always say about people, especially people who are the face of a company or head of an organization, if you start to be that face and you start to put yourself out there, there's so much good that can happen. But the negative side is that everyone's going to want to talk exclusively to you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a team that you have to delegate to, you have to convince people that they can trust the extension of you, which is your team. So when you're out there and you're very vocal and you're the face and you're the one who's producing all the content and you're the one who's on LinkedIn and you're doing all of that, just know there's going to be a contingent, there's going to be a group of people who exclusively want to work with you and are just not going to be willing to work with your team. And so you have to find a way to navigate that. And you have to make sure that if they're getting to you, it's that they understand the value you're bringing and they pay accordingly for that value. And I think that's something that a lot of business leaders have a hard time with is really saying, I have to be at this level in terms of the people that I'm working with because my time is limited because I'm also managing the entire company and managing my team. So, there's pros and cons. I'm always team be out there. People resonate better with people, right? Like if you're just telling a brand story without a face, I think putting a face in there does make it more personable to people. But it's going to come with some challenges that you're going to have to navigate.
For sure. For sure. Awesome. Thanks, Megan. I appreciate that. And anyone who's listening to this, go out there and just do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a great way. Like one post can really change someone's life, can change your life, and you can continue moving forward. So anyways, back to the conversation, Megan. With AI and all these disruptors in this industry today, it's a tough industry to navigate because we have a lot of companies. And sorry, I want to take it more this direction. So we have a lot of companies who we want to partner with and we'll bring up AI and they get scared. They run away because they're like, oh, they're using AI for everything, right? So huge misconception on how agencies, marketing, PR in general are using AI to really benefit their clients. And it's a big education factor that's going to come in to play here very soon. And people just need to understand that we're not using AI for everything. But how do we educate our clients properly that we are using AI to really benefit them, save time to really focus on their project and get their work done that the way that and keep focus further on their outcome by using these tools to make things a little bit more efficient? How are you guys navigating this landscape with these tools, with the clients, and this misconception going on within the industry?
Yeah. I think you use the word that I use all the time. AI is a tool. It's not a replacement, right? So we do not use AI to replace human beings at my company. We use it to increase efficiency and to cut down on the amount of time it takes us to do something that can be automated. So for example, instead of I write press releases, right? Every week I'm writing 5 to 10 press releases. I will write a press release, and instead of sending it to my team member and taking her away from something and saying, please copy edit this for me, I run it through AI, right? And AI says, hey, you might want to reword it. Hey, you might want to fix this error or whatever. And that's a great example of something that I can trust AI to do as long as I check it, right? I never, ever would just send something out without looking at it again, as opposed to pulling my team member away from maybe writing social media content for that person. So, this is something, and it's internally at my company, we have conflicting views. Like, I have some team members who are like, I'm not using it. And I have other team members who are like, I love it. And I think if we treat everything as a tool and we educate people about how you're using it, and also being transparent, right? So, we're very open and honest. If a client asks us, like, are you using AI to write my content? I'll explain. And I'll say, well, we might use AI to like generate some ideas, but we're not like handing off your content to AI. It's just not something that we're willing to do. And that might change, right? Like, we might get to a point where there's now reactive, right? AI's learning, and it might be able to pick up language, and it might be able to, after you doing it a couple times, you could say, okay, write me a post and let's see. But it's never going to replace a human being looking at something and making sure that it's done correctly. So I think it's just, we have to treat everything with, a little bit, like, don't go full into it, like dip your toe into it, learn it, and treat it like a tool and a resource instead of I can save money and fire a bunch of people. Like, that's not what it should be used for. I always say to people, and this is like me showing my age, I watched Ready Player One. I don't want that world for us. I don't want it. Like, I don't think we should get to a point where we are not employing people, right? Like, what good is the world if people don't have employment opportunities and money to spend back into the economy? Like, we also have to be ethical, and we have to be smart about the way we use things as well.
For sure. Yes, that's a great point. Because, I mean, there's so many tools out there. There's so many great tools. There's so many tools that maybe aren't so good. And at the end of the day, people still want to deal with people. People still want to navigate a marketing campaign with another person, whether it be someone from your team, Meghan, whether it be yourself. They don't want to just check in with an AI bot and see how the campaign's going, right?
I have to tell you, I saw an ad. I won't say the name of the company. It's a national brand. And I was like, oh my God, they clearly had AI create the ad. And it said it was for kids clothing. And they said something about like, let us dress your kids for their cute party. And it was a picture of adults wearing a mask, and they were all wearing the same mask of someone, and like AI interpreted it. Like, if you looked quickly, you might be like, oh, that's a table full of kids. But then you realized it was adults wearing masks, and they used it as a picture of kids. And I was like, this is a prime example of why AI shouldn't be exclusively running your marketing. Like, a human would have caught that, and they put it out there, and they're spending money on it, and they look really foolish. So I think we have to use it responsibly.
For sure. And back to what you said, the automation tools are incredible to save time, to for maybe not checking your email, organize your emails. It saves you a lot of time, like I said earlier, to focus on what you're doing for your client and getting them that outcome. Now, you talked about trust. You spoke about trust a little bit earlier in the conversation, and that's such a big factor in today's market because, like I said, they think we're using AI. Maybe they don't, but a lot of companies have been burnt from a marketing company before, and it's tough for them to accept a new effort that is going to get them the results. So navigating that aspect is one of the toughest things to do in this market today. How are you guys really building trust with your clients or your prospects before working with them to show them that you can really get them to their result and help them through this process that they're fighting?
Yeah, I think we have a really robust portfolio, and we have longevity, right? So I've been in business for almost 13 years. I personally have over 20 years experience in the field, and we've won a lot of awards. We have a lot of accolades. And so I think our portfolio and our deck really speak for itself. Plus we have wonderful references. So we're very transparent right at the front. If someone comes to us and says they want to work with us, we offer them access to those resources and references. We also explain to them the type of client we're looking to work with. And if they are not a good fit, we say, we don't think this is a good fit. And I think that is probably key, right? Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there who, and myself included, when I started the business, I wanted to be everything to everyone. I would take on any client that came in. I wanted to get my feet wet. And now that I'm 13 years into owning the company, if a client walks through the door and the red lights start going off, the red flags start popping up, I'm like, this is not going to work. And so I'm very open, and I'm of course very polite about it and professional, but I will say, hey, I've got some other agencies that I think you might be a better fit for. And that reputation precedes me. So when people come to me, if they already know that I'm not going to work with them if I don't think we can accomplish their goals, if I don't think we're the right fit. And so they know that if we get to proposal phase, I do think we can help them succeed. And I think that comes with time and experience.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome, because I feel like a lot of people might be out to get you. A lot of companies might be just wanting that paycheck, not actually putting the work in to get them the results. So you actually, and you probably have you're a speaker, you're an influencer, probably have a massive network of agencies, marketing agencies, PR agencies that can really help someone in a specific detail. So maybe you guys aren't super skilled within the email marketing space, but you know someone that is, so you help, you navigate them to the other company and really help out the other company as well, because maybe they need a hand. So it's all looking out for the client, for the prospect, and really wanting the best for them. And I think that's truly amazing, because a lot of people might just get greedy and say they can help, but at the end of the day, the results aren't there. And then again, they lose trust once again, the client
And that's bad for everybody. Like nobody benefits in that situation, including you. You might have gotten the paycheck, but now that client's going to go around and tell everyone you suck. Yeah. So it's not a good long-term strategy for people. And we do have a lot of people who come to us and say, I worked with a marketing agency for a year and they did nothing, and I never even saw the ads that ran. And there's a lot of education that then needs to go into my effort before even allowing the client to move forward. I have to be so clear and transparent about what it is they should be expecting out of our agreement. So it's also like, for any agency owner listening to this who does that, please stop, because it's very problematic for the rest of us. Like, then they just don't see the value in marketing. And we all know that good marketing can lead to really great things.
For sure. And the other misconception is that, marketing does take time at the end of the day. You can't just try something for a couple months. That's another education factor that needs to come in place. Is you can't try something for a month and think you're going to be a billionaire by the end of that campaign, right? It takes time to figure out what messaging is actually going to attract the right people, right? And like we said earlier, marketing is all about testing, making pivots, and moving forward with your brand. So I always ask this question on the podcast, Meghan, and that's for marketing agencies today who are looking to scale their lead generation or their customer acquisition. What seems to be the go-to model that you're seeing that works well for Chik Media today?
So this is such a hard question for me to answer, because it really depends on industry from what I've seen, right? So my architecture client is not going to buy a list of 10,000 people within his 50-mile radius, right? He's a commercial architect. Like his best lead gen is networking and reputation. Right? For us, for Chik Media, it's social media, particularly Instagram. That is the number one place that we get client leads from, and reputation, I would say. And so, but then we worked with a smoothie company, a smoothie shop, and we used Toast. And that was her number one revenue generator, was sending out certain deals and discounts through her Toast program, through email marketing. So I always hesitate to just give a blanket answer there, because I think any good agency is going to not just look at what are the national trends and what is everyone saying is working. What is this industry, and how do we do a lead gen that feels authentic to you? And and we work with a lot of digital advertising on behalf of our clients. And we had a lot of people approach us about the smoothie shop. And it's also about ROI. How many smoothies is my client going to need to sell to justify this huge, massive monthly expense to do OTT, it's not happening. Like she can't even facilitate that many smoothies. My architecture client, that's a different story, right? You might need to get one client from the ad
Yeah,
spend. So we also have to look at ROI and make sure that it actually does make sense for the company that you're marketing.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, it's all depends, like you said, on the landscape, on who you're reaching out to, what your current
Exactly.
situation is, as well as an agency. Now,
Yep.
at the end of the day, I mean, you're a speaker. You go to events. You build your network, and you have a personal brand as well. And that personal brand builds into your network, builds into your connections, and helps you get those referral connections to get
For
brand, which
sure.
is obviously going to be your number one attributor to lead generation, is who you know and who knows you, right, for the
Yeah.
specific work you do. Um, how has your personal brand really impacted that side of the lead generation for Chick Media? Because
Mm.
I just want to pull it back into personal brand. There's not many that have come on that have a huge personal brand presence. So that's why I'm asking all these questions to you, Megan. But
Yeah.
um, how has it really helped Chick Media having a personal brand as
Yeah.
well as the brand for Chick Media on Instagram and social media as well?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it has made people use what you get, what you see is what you get,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think people, I'm very transparent, I'm very open, I'm very honest, and I'm very sassy, sarcastic. Like that's who I am online. And so when people think about who do they want to work with to promote their brand, again, people might say, "Oh, she's not the right fit. I have a very buttoned up professional, group that I need to market, and blah blah blah, and she doesn't fit within that lens." And other people might be like, "Oh no, my brand's super fun and it's vibrant and exciting. Like she is who I want to work with." And so I think my personal brand and my vulnerability, my ability to put myself out there, and be, fun and have fun with social media has really attracted the type of clientele we want to work with. And that, Chick Media, if you look at my brand online and you look at Chick Media's brand, they're very complementary, but they're not the same. Chick Media is more professional, right? I'm a little bit more sassy and edgy on social media, whereas the Chick messaging tends to be more inspirational, women focused, uplifting. We have a blog where we feature women entrepreneurs nonstop. And so it's a extension of me, but it's not a an exact duplicate, if you
Mm-hmm.
will. And I think they complement each other really well.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Now, looking ahead for Chick Media, Megan, what are some of the goals? What's the vision you have behind Chick Media for the future? And what does that landscape look like for you guys?
Yeah, I I'm happy with where we are in terms of we have a great kind of core group of clients who have been with us for many, many years. Some of my clients have been with me since we started the company.
Wow.
So most clients, when they come on board with us, unless there is a major hardship where budgets get cut, they choose to stay on with us in some capacity long term. So I think continuing to grow on that and finding our core group, onboarding and offboarding a client, it's a pain in the butt for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I also don't want someone coming to us for a year and having them to offboard and feel like they didn't get anything out of that year. And so I think our continued trajectory is to find those retainer clients who we're a good fit for, and we can be with them long term and become their true partner in marketing while still being able to take on these one-off projects.
Yeah.
So, we've got a couple of one-off projects in the works that are so exciting. They're more like brand development, asset build out. So, graphic design and web and things like that. I can see us doing, more of those with some additional PR work. PR work is like one of my favorite pieces of what we do. It's really about the storytelling and the expert positioning. It's a lot of training and getting the client to the point where they feel comfortable in front of the camera. So I see major growth for us in that area because I think a lot of people are starting to pivot and look at that as a great avenue to get their name out there. That's not just a click on an ad. It's more, oh wow, this person got to do a 4-minute interview or a 30-minute podcast and really deep dive into who they are. And I think people are really enjoying that aspect of marketing right now.
For sure. For sure. I feel like touching off of that, a lot of people don't understand what PR is. Like a lot of people jump into marketing because they're like, oh, marketing, I know what marketing is. It's just
Yeah.
advertising and showing your brand and etc. But not many people are
Yeah.
like really look at the PR side of things. If you guys can expertise, like become an expert in that space, and kind of look a little bit of a different direction in your own little silo, you might just kind
Yeah.
of find your own little spot and sneak in there, and that could be your go-to. But it's always
Yeah.
nice to be able to help your clients in every single way as well. So just like that case study from the beginning that you talked about, and
Yeah.
helping and understanding the brand, and then getting a full circle effect and having different aspects, different parts within your team, different people within your team, all engaging on one project and really bringing your team together at the same time, executing
Mm-hmm.
for a partner and really getting their goals. So, yeah, I love the vision behind it. I love what you guys are trying to do. And I mean, client retention is huge right now. And we all
Yeah.
want what's best for our clients. I mean, I hope we all want what's best for our clients at the end of the day. But um, it does suck losing people, especially because you have the best interest at heart for them. You want to get
Yeah.
them to their result, and that is the goal of working with an agency like yours, or myself, or another agency out there. Is they're driven to get you to your goals if you pick the right one, I should say.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
and every partner's different, every customer's different, every client's different, and that's what we all strive for, is that problem solving skills, the figuring out what's going to work, what's not going to work in this crazy landscape. So
Yeah.
now you mentioned that you wanted to grow more of the customer retention side of things. If you had a magic, this is just my up in the sky question. If you had a magic wand to fix one thing within Chik Media today, what would that
Mm.
one thing be?
Oh, that is a loaded question. Gosh, I don't, I don't know. I feel like, we're very unique in the sense that I have a lot of kind of quirky, strict boundaries, if you will, in terms of my team and even my own personal boundaries. But our clients very much come on board knowing you can't call me at 9 o'clock at night. You can't interrupt me on a Saturday. If you have a crisis, I can help you handle it, but you're going to pay my crisis communication fee. So, I would say that we very much are a highly functioning team that has these really beautiful boundaries that allow for work life balance. I think if I could wave a magic wand, I would get everyone externally on board with that, right? Like I would, again, our clients are pretty good about it. I'd say like 98% of the time our clients adhere to it. And I'm not even talking about current clients. I'm talking about maybe just the world in general, particularly this country, America. I wish more people built that work-life balance into their business model and allowed their team breaks. We have a summer break. We take the entire week of July 4th. We shut down, and we
Wow.
shut down the entire week in between Christmas and New Year's. And it is our policy. You are not permitted to contact clients, and you are not permitted to contact each other about anything business related. You can say Merry Christmas, you can say Happy New Year, you can do all that, but nothing work related. And that's a very intentional pause that we take, that most European countries take too. But we do it here. And I think if I could just go, boot, everybody in the world would do it. With the exception of our first responders and our emergency personnel. But I wish we would give each other space to reset, because burnout is real, and then
Hmm.
it leads to long-term impact on your work.
Yeah.
So that would be my wish.
No, that's amazing. That's a great point, because I mean, you look at some people just don't have an off switch in general. With business, with entrepreneurship, some people don't have an off switch,
Yeah.
and they don't
Yep.
realize that they do need to come back. They need to ground themselves and just become
Mm-hmm.
one with themselves instead of their computer. So that's a
Yes.
great point,
It's not an
because
appendage.
no, exactly, exactly. There's a lot out there. Life is more than just making money or helping a client get their result or sitting in front of a
Yep.
laptop or just sitting in front of your TV watching shows. Life is more than that. You can
Yeah.
take breaks. Even if you're just an employee, you can take breaks and really focus on what
Yeah.
you want to do. Like, take a month off and go travel. I mean, Megan might not want to hear this,
Yeah.
but take a month off and go travel and do what you want to do for your life.
Yep.
because I feel like a lot of people don't take that opportunity because they feel like they're stuck and they can't. So even just you giving
Yeah.
those that week, that you said month off in July or week
We
off,
do
is it?
no, we do a week. We take all
Okay.
of the week of July 4th off, and then the week in between Christmas and New
Yeah,
Year's.
so even just taking that week off and having it to go do your own
Yeah.
thing is amazing because a lot of companies, they only focus on where the CEO wants to be, and that's make more money, and they don't
Yeah.
really get seen within their company. And go to a company
Right.
that sees you, that trusts you, and
As a human.
as a human,
Yeah.
and wants you to grow with the company and learn every single day. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's a piece of advice I just had to add on there as well. So thank you for that,
Yeah.
Megan. Now, leads me to the next question: is what is the best piece of advice you could give to a young marketer, entrepreneur, just getting started within this industry today?
Yeah. So I think for my entrepreneurs, I think you have to buckle up. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I worked, in corporate, I worked in nonprofit, I worked in education, and entrepreneurism kind of fell into my lap, and it became it became, I think, the universe's plan for me. Um, I think if you are deciding to jump into owning your own business, you have to be prepared for ups and downs. It is a roller coaster ride, right? So there's going to be great days where you land the client or you get the project, and then there's going to be days where you've spent hours on something and you don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be hard days where you might have to look at your staffing and you might have to make cuts. There's going to be days where you might need more staff, and oh my God, now you got to handle that. And there is no stabilization. Like I every time I think, okay, we're stable, we're good, something happens, whether it's positive or negative. And my adaptability is not always great, right? It depends on how tired I am, how burnt out I am. I try to be adaptable, and I think you have to be when you're an entrepreneur. For my young marketers, if you're not looking into entrepreneurship but you want to be a marketer, I really want to stress what I already said, which is this concept of like not cookie. I don't even think that's a word, but not providing cookie cutter solutions to people. I think marketing has become this white noise of social media and digital advertising, and it's just people are tuning it out. I see a lot of clients going back to mailers, and mailers are being really successful
Mm-hmm.
right now. So which is not good for the environment, but like, I digress. You have to look at each individual company, each individual client, and make sure that their plan is actually resonating with the intended audience instead of just throwing something at the wall that worked for somebody else and hoping it sticks.
Yeah.
Make sure you're adapting and you're paying attention to what the client's needs actually are.
That's great. That's great. That's amazing. Megan, where can people find you if they want to get a hold of you or learn more about
Yeah.
you or learn more about Chik Media as well?
Yeah, so our website is chikmedia.us, and that's CHIK media.us. I'm on Instagram, out with Meghan, Meghan. That's kind of the funnest place to connect with me because you get to see all my sassy content. And, our website has all of our contact information and email and phone number and all of that. So if people want to connect, they can do it through there.
Amazing. Thank you for joining me, Megan. It's been a pleasure hearing about your
Thank
journey,
you for
hearing
having
about
me.
Chik Media, and hearing some experience and knowledge within this landscape as well. Because we're all trying to navigate it together. We're all trying to figure out how we can do it the best way, most efficient way possible. And it's great
Yeah.
hearing different opinions on how to get to that end result. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.